أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. So the next of the muhlikat that we're going to talk about is lying or al-kadhib, and concerning this the Prophet ﷺ said that truthfulness leads to righteousness while righteousness leads to Jannah. Lying or falsehood leads to wickedness and wickedness leads to hellfire. A person will keep on telling lies until he's written with Allah as a liar. So taking this into account, there are two stations of a liar. One is a person who sometimes lies, and the other is a person who perpetually lies, and this earns them the title of al-kadhab. So generally, lying is forbidden and leads to wickedness, and when we see the importance of striving for a level of the Siddiqeen, because the Prophet ﷺ named lying as one of the signs of a hypocrite, and so it's even taken to a higher level of being considered one of the kaba'ir or the major sins when done consistently. Now there are certain conditions under which lying is considered acceptable. The first is to save a life. The second is exaggerating in praise. We have next, if you're trying to reconcile two people's differences or cause peace between them. And then the fourth is ambiguity. But then, even with ambiguity, there are certain situations and guidelines that you should follow. So next we look at mockery, and the evidence for the prohibition of mockery is seen in Surah Al-Hujurat when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لَا يَسْخَرْ قَوْمٌ مِّن قَوْمٍ عَسَىٰ أَن يَكُونُوا خَيْرًا مِّنكُمْ. O you who believe, let not one of you mock another group of you, lest that they should be better than you. And if we examine it deeper, the sin of mockery comes from a bigger flaw of kibr or pride, when someone feels they're better than someone else, and so they feel that this entitles them to mention their flaws or their differences in a negative way. We also covered two-faced speech. This is evidence when the Prophet ﷺ said that the worst amongst the people is dhul wajhain, a person with two faces. Now, two-faced speech is a minor form of namima, but it can mean that with one group of people, a person acts one way or has one personality, and with another group of people, they act another way and they have a different personality. And an example of this would be pretending to like someone to their face and then disparaging them in their absence. So the goal here is to be consistent in our personality, no matter who we're with and no matter which group of people we're amongst. And then we move on to revealing secrets, or revealing the secrets of our brother. And the Prophet ﷺ made it very clear in many places that even if someone tells you something and then they look away, then what they tell you is considered an amana, a trust. And this sin is also considered to be one of the signs of a hypocrite. That's when a person is given a trust, they prove to be dishonest. And we see that even our secrets are considered to be a trust and a manna. And so the worst of the secrets that we could expose is the secrets between the husband and the wife, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that hunna libasun lakum wa antum libasun lahunna. You are a cover for them and they are a cover for you. And so we should strive to protect the secrets of our brothers and sisters and not be amongst those people who indiscriminately are just exposing all the secrets and the inner thoughts of people. Next, we want to look at breaking promises, which is, according to the Prophet ﷺ, another sign of a hypocrite. In Surah Al-Mu'minun, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing the mu'min who has succeeded, when he says, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ, and then he goes into the description or the characteristics of the mu'min. And one of the first characteristics he mentions is وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِأَمَانَاتِهِمْ وَعَهْدِهِمْ رَاعُونَ, those who in their trusts and their covenants, those who guard their trusts and their covenants. And there are countless examples and they keep going. In Surah Al-Ma'idah he says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَوْفُوا بِالْعُقُودِ, O you who believe, fulfill your covenants. And then yet again in Surah Al-Isra he says, وَأَوْفُوا بِالْعَهْدِ إِنَّ الْعَهْدَ كَانَ مَسْئُولًا, to guard your covenants, because verily there's something you're going to be questioned about. So we see, because it's constantly mentioned in the Quran and in the Sunnah, keeping your promises and not breaking them is something that's very extremely regarded. And when we look at impermissible joking, first of all, we need to know that joking is something that was done by Rasulullah ﷺ and the Sahaba, but there are certain guidelines we have to follow. First, we must make sure that we're not mocking Allah and the religion, and then our joking shouldn't be at the expense of someone else's honor or dignity. And then, amongst others, we should steer clear of frightening our brother, because the Prophet ﷺ said that we shouldn't frighten or scare our brothers and sisters. And so now we move on to pride. And pride, as we all know, is a major sin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّهُ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُسْتَكْبِرِينَ, that verily He does not love the prideful and arrogant people. And so there are two forms of pride. The first is pride with revelation, where a person denounces something from the Quran as illogical because they feel that their reasoning is superior to that of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the other is related to belittling people and thinking you're better than them. And this is primarily a manifestation of the heart. Now, taking a look at the manifestations of pride, the first is thinking you're better than people, and then acting humbly. So you know in your heart that you feel like you're better than someone, but then you try to manifest that pride, not in arrogance, but you try to act humbly. But at the end of the day, we know that your pride is going to get the better of you and you will be exposed. The second is degrading others with your actions. And then there's consistently bragging about your accomplishments. And when we look at treating this disease of pride, we try to acquaint ourselves with those that have less than us, because when we see people that are at a lower station than us in terms of dunya, then instead of being pride and arrogant, we're gonna be forced to be humble and thankful for what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed you with. So it comes down to knowing yourself, knowing your Lord, and then remembering death often. When you know that these people you feel pride towards, or you feel that you're better than them, you're all going to be in the same station when you die. You're all going to die, and the only thing that's going to distinguish you from these people is your good deeds. The only thing that's going to follow you into the hereafter is your good deeds, and you'll be sure to get rid of this disease of pridefulness and arrogance.